Valentino's. We're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Big Box.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos. As always, come Ticket Weeknights. We got Tristan Gomes joining me to my left. You guys can always join in 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Haven text line, Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl Channel 961. If you want to put a face to the voice, we don't got Takedown Tuesdays. Not quite yet, but hopefully we run that for you guys 7 to 8 o'clock. So again, if you're looking for Ridge, love it. Hang around for that 7 o'clock hour. And then if we got time for it, Jeffrey will hop on air tonight with me as well. But with that being said, let's bring him in. We're going to talk some college football, see if we can mix in some NBA as well. But Tristan, how's it going here on a Tuesday night?
Doing well. Always happy to be here. Beautiful day out. Still having that cool weather, which is nice, but it's a good day.
Absolutely. I'm loving it. We've been talking a lot old school. We were talking just a lot of those games that we're super excited for. I also didn't realize as we were talking, it been last week, best games that we're looking forward to come football season. I think there's a Miami Notre Dame game pretty early, a Catholics versus Convicts game, classic. So I'm super excited. We're going to dive into some college football, and ESPN, they put out this list. If you guys were listening at all during old school, we've referenced it a few times, didn't get too far into detail, but the top 32 teams that have a playoff chance, a college football playoff chance, that is currently the 12 and will not be to the 16. I think they're still battling it. Has there been any ground on that since last time? It feels like we've hit a standstill where the Big Ten and SEC just can't see eye to eye, and we're going to go with the 12 team this year, and then kind of feels like for the foreseeable future as well, as they neither wants to budge.
Yeah, I think the main focus more, I think it's going to stay as 12, and it does, like you said, seem like it's just the Big Ten, SEC not being able to agree. But I think first, they're thinking, all right, let's keep it 12. Let's try this a little bit more. We've had 1 year of it. And then also, I think they would rather change maybe the format of it rather than give just the conference champions that bye. Maybe it's just the top 4 teams in general. Maybe mess around with that before they go to just the 16 teams.
Do you like the 12, 4, 16, 18? I think some people even throw out 18 playoff formats out there, which I don't know how that work with 9 on each side. But is there a format that you really like?
I do like the 12. I think with the 4, maybe we saw a few teams getting left out that maybe had a chance. I mean, you would think about last year, Ohio State won it all. If with their loss to Oregon and Michigan, they would not have been in the top 4, which as an Oregon fan, kind of wish they weren't. But it's just how, it played out. So I think, giving more teams an opportunity to maybe, have a chance at this big picture, at this, national championship makes it a little bit more fun to watch. And as fans, we get more games to watch. I think the one downside, though, is you can lose 2 games or you can, kind of fall like Ohio State. If with that loss to Oregon, they had to beat Michigan last year. So maybe that, changes that game a little bit. Or if Michigan wins, then Ohio State's out. So there's plus and minuses to both sides of it, but I do enjoy the 12 team.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it is like there's always like some beauty and equilibrium. Like it gets that with anything. Like, and then that's why I always go on the rant all the time. That's why the idea of like expanding the playoffs all the time drives me a little bit nuts because I'm like, we're gonna get ahead of our skis, and then too much is bad the same way too little is bad. Before I think you just kind of got used to it, and then you would see one blowout being like, oh, see, can you imagine if we broke this thing out to 12? Every game would be a blowout, and then we do it. And, even some of the teams that you weren't thinking super highly of, like the Arizona States, you're like, okay, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yep.
Oregon, you're like, well, they should be able to beat Ohio State again, no problem. And then they got trounced, no shots. So I think 12 is just about perfect. I think they will expand it eventually, maybe not next year and a couple of years down the road, because it's just we're not going to go down this rabbit hole either because we talked about it already, but they just can't agree on how many conference games to play.
Exactly.
So we got 8, 9. Until that ever gets figured out, I think they're going to sit at 12. Now, move the bowl games, however you want to do that. That's another argument, but I'm with you there. Really wanted to address that since we're going to be talking about 32 teams with the odds. And I'm just going to start at 32. They have the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who were 8-5 last year. What is an actual list? Like, do we even go to 32? To you, how many teams out there can actually go compete that you think that belong on a list? Or is like, when you hear Texas Tech Red Raiders, like, this is just ridiculous?
When I hear Texas Tech, I don't want to say I'm surprised just because I feel like the Big 12 is so wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, what was Arizona State projected to finish last year? They were supposed to, projected to finish outside of the top 10 in the Big 12. So it's a conference that maybe any team can go ahead and just win on any given year. So maybe they're not a top 12 team by any means, but they just got to win their conference, maybe even just be top 2 in their conference. And that gives them an opportunity to be in the college football playoff. So I think a team like that, 32 is a lot. I mean, to start with, just 32 teams, what percentage chance do they get in? But I'm not surprised if we are going to see a few Big 12, even ACC teams on there, just because of how kind of wide open those conferences are.
Yeah, that's like, the list is kind of funny. It's like, you can make this list like 50. Like, if you're really wanting to stretch it, you could find a way. And I go, well, you look at these schedules, everything's wide open. Like, you can find some teams and make the case for them. So I just wanted to bring that up. Like, this is just making the college football playoff, not winning it. So they do have the chances on there for them. And they have to make the playoff, they give them actually a pretty decent shot, 10.3%. But to win the title, they got them at 0.1%. So, and then again, they were 8-5 last year. TCU bounced back a little bit. They were 9-4. They're about the same odds here, about a 10.3% chance to win. Any thoughts on TCU? Last year, they surprised me a little bit. I felt like they were starting to ship down the wagon there. Or what? Who was the quarterback that they lost? They had the redhead.
They had Max Duggan for a while.
Thank you. That's
Council
who it
Bluffs.
was.
Yep.
And then after he took off, I want to say the next season was pretty disastrous for him.
Yeah, I think they lost in the national championship. Yeah. Brutal game. Did beat Michigan that year. Brutal game to Georgia. And then the following year was no bueno. Yeah, no bueno. I think Colorado actually might have beat them.
Yeah, that's right.
And Deion's first game. And that was just kind of the downfall of TCU. But then had a pretty solid comeback last year, and goes to show Big 12 up for grabs. Anyone's got a chance.
I think that might be the theme of a lot of these is like, you just got to make it. At number 30, just make it in your conference is what I meant to say there. At number 30, Nebraska Cornhuskers. They do make the list. What do you think they give them for their playoff odds to make the playoffs?
I'm going to go around 11.5.
What are your odds?
11.5.
Okay, well, they got 10.3. So you were over, but not by much.
Yeah.
That one's about right. And again, why is Nebraska all the way at 30? Especially if you're someone who's just like been watching the Nebraska scores and the wins and losses, you're like, this team stinks. I know they won 7 games, but relax. Well, go look at the schedule.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can definitely find a line there. And even if you're in the Big Ten, so if you lose to a Penn State or a Michigan, even if you lose both of those games, if you have the other wins are impressive, if you go, thrash Iowa, like, you might be able to find yourself a spot. To your point at the very beginning, like 2 losses, it's not going to kill you anymore. At number 29, Baylor Bears, and we're going to rapid fire some of these, unless you want to pause.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So 28, Virginia Tech Hokies, 27. The BYU Cougars, we're going back to the Big 12. Wide open. At 26, Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas is kind of fun. Where are you at with Kansas? I've liked the Leipold experiment. I honestly wanted him as the head coach. But when we were in there between Fickle, Leipold, or Matt Rule, I think Kansas is in a really good spot right now. Where are you at with the Rock Chalk Jayhawks?
Yeah, I'm on the Jayhawk kind of bandwagon right now. New stadium, better to get recruits into. Had a little bit of success over these past few years. I think there was one point where they were 6-0.
Yeah.
And then I think they lost their last 6. But
still, forget about that.
Yeah.
It was a crazy end to the season.
Yeah. But I think they're getting progressively better. And I do like Leipold. Just seeing what he's done. He's made an impact. Because previously Kansas, you would think of Kansas football and you'd think, oh,
they have a team.
They have a team. Hopefully they win 1 or 2 games this year. But I definitely do think they're on the come up.
Yeah, let's see. I should have known better. Of course, they're gonna have to give me the. I looked up the Kansas schedule. I was
Oh,
like, I gotta specify Kansas football.
we got
Yeah,
basketball.
because of course it wants to give you the basketball. Just to double check at the end of their year. Okay, so they actually did manage.
I think it was the previous year maybe that they went 6-0, lost 6 straight.
Okay,
How'd they finish last year?
last year they finished. I think it's all. Hold on, this computer has just got everything backwards for me right now. I need to not use the default one and actually pull up their football schedule there. So 2024. One more second. Streaming only. So okay, they were 5-7. Not great. They were at
No.
5-7 last year. That's worse than I remember.
Yeah.
4-5 in conference play. They were okay at home. On the road, they were 1-5. That's where they're taking most of it. To end the year, yeah, it looks like they actually lost early, and then they beat Colorado 37-21, and then they lost to Baylor to end the year. But it was at the beginning of the year. They had a loss to Illinois, UNLV, West Virginia, TCU, Arizona State, back to back, right out the gate. So then they kind of picked themselves back up. They had another tough loss to Kansas State, but they did beat Houston, and they'd managed to beat BYU and Iowa State. They actually had a pretty tough schedule last year. I would buy on them. I'm not sure what their over under is, but if I gave you an 8.5 line, you taking the over or under for Kansas? Maybe 7.5 is a better number.
Yeah, I think they have Jalen Daniels still, who has been their quarterback for the past, I want to say 2 years, and he's been pretty solid for them and a consistent quarterback. And it's crazy last year. I mean, they beat Iowa State, who was in the conference championship. They beat BYU, who was had a great season. So they beat some good teams, and then just blew it against some of those lower end teams like UNLV. But I'm going to take the under on 8.5.
Is the Big 12 underrated? Like, I'm starting to wonder if I need to be watching a lot more Big 12 games because, like, some of these scores are insane. Like, to your point, it's like, okay, well, you guys are actually they're doing pretty well against some of these teams. These teams just don't make any sense in the Big 12. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too, is with the Big 12, you'll see a, 48-49 score of a game just because maybe the offense is explosive and then the defense isn't there. And so I don't want to say that the Big 12 is underrated because I do think if you put a middle of the pack, Big 12 team.
I mean, in terms of entertainment value.
Oh,
I don't think they're going to compete with the Big 10 or SEC. Yeah. I should clarify.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that, the entertainment value, because I remember last year it was BYU, Oklahoma State came down to the wire on a Friday, and they're just electric games just because, one, the defense may not be stellar, and then it's just a scoring, dream.
Oh, it's just when you go to the Big 12, like, anytime it feels like coaches get the lead, they're like, "Why they don't believe in killing clock."
Yeah,
like they're just gonna keep playing their game until the game's over. They're not intentionally trying to run it up. It's just like they just stick to that offense. I know that's a broad assumption of the entire Big 12, but I just looking at their schedule, I like Kansas a lot. I did not realize 5-7 looks bad, but if you go look at that schedule, especially with the wins that they did have, you'd be pretty surprised. So I think they're a little bit disappointed, but I think it's still a position where they're like, okay, we still know we got a really good head coach. It just was not a great year. Tough opponents. We had some good wins, but just a brutal schedule for them. This one at 8-5 last year, a little bit surprising. 25, the Florida Gators. Higher or lower?
I'm gonna go lower.
Okay. In terms of like higher being higher up the list being you have a great playoff chances, lower means not. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
is it the conference or?
It's the conference. They have one of the toughest schedules in the country, if not the toughest schedule. And I think it's so hard to compete, especially when we're talking about the Big Ten, SEC. Sure, maybe you can have 3 losses, but more than likely you need, 2 or less to get into the playoffs. I find it hard to believe that Florida has a chance to, only have 2 losses.
Yeah, it's been, if you're really, really like DJ Lagway, then you can maybe buy into it. That's a tough schedule, and I think they have, by the numbers, like the actually hardest schedule that we looked up. So I'm gonna, if I had to take a swing at it, I'd put them. They might be 32, which is just very unfortunate for Florida. But I just don't. I think they're really good, but in that conference, like, you're just gonna be hard pressed, especially where there feels like there's a lot of turmoil right there too, where
Yeah.
it's not as consistent, where you feel like you might drop a weird game in there. Who knows who the next powerhouse is going to be? I mean, we're seeing schools like Vanderbilt and Indiana
Mhm.
turn around. So just big changes happening all over. 24, Arizona State Sun Devils. This is one I'd put them higher. This one seems like if they're bringing just about everybody back. I know we talk about this all the time. No major coaching changes, maybe few positional coaches, but I don't even think I've heard anything from their OC or DC having to take off. So Arizona State, you know, 15, top 15 probably is where they'd be for me, and not in the toughest conference. They just got to take care of business.
Yeah, I expect them to stay at the top of the Big 12. I'm a big fan of Kenny Dillingham and just what he did when he first showed up there. Sam Levitt's a good quarterback that we saw last year, and having a good quarterback in college football can take you so far. So I'm pretty high up on the Arizona State Sun Devils.
How about do you think like losing Scadaboo was? Do you think they're going to miss it greatly? Do you think obviously he's a great talent, like you're going to miss him, but how important was him for that run?
It was huge. I mean, if we're going to be honest, we didn't see many running backs like that. I mean, I think Scadaboo almost maybe didn't even get the shine that he deserves because Ashton Genty was just unbelievable.
That Texas game, it helped him. Finally.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
it really wasn't until then. I don't think people are like, wait, who the hell's this kid?
Yeah, I think in their conference championship game against Iowa State, we saw him, explode a little bit, but then Texas game, we saw it. So I think he's a great talent, but if you want to be a top team, you got to have good turnover. You got to have guys that are coming in, filling in those spots. And I'm not sure how they did recruiting wise, but Kenny Dillingham, even at Oregon, was a guy that brought in good offensive talent. So I still expect them to be pretty solid this year.
I like it. Arizona State. Who's the other big threat in the Big 12? Maybe BYU. I'm not.
I mean, Baylor, they're projected to be pretty solid, and I'm excited to see them. I'm curious just what Oklahoma State looks like. Not saying they're going to be a huge threat, but after their kind of atrocious season last year, how do they respond? Colorado. I mean, you have Caden Salter, and Julian
QB battle
Lewis,
still,
who are both battling for QB, who I think both could be pretty good. Caden Salter had a great career at Liberty, so they could be something. I'm curious what Colorado looks like without the hype of Shadur and Travis. So we'll see how Colorado is. It's such an open conference.
It really is. It's probably the most open conference in all of college football right now, unless you want to throw in like I don't know what they got on like D3 or D2 divisions, but in Division 1 right now, it's like that's the last conference I'd have to like if I had to pick an order, not just like who's going to win it, but give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one that you're going to have the most heart with by far. But even for a school like Colorado, you still got prime time. He's a selling point all in himself. He's a point why the people get excited. But it's also just a tough year. That's where you do generally feel for Deion. I don't know how much he had to be away from the team, like doing all the practices, but obviously he's been pretty open about everything and why he wasn't. Hey, I'm going to tell everyone about my medical history right now because focusing on the team, make sure the players aren't focused on that. So Colorado, if you had to buy or sell on Colorado, you can even make the argument better than last year because they didn't sound like they racked on a ton of wins. Are they going to be an uptick, downtick, about the same in terms of their success as a football program?
I think it's going to go down just a little bit. I mean, I know Shadur fell to the 5th round, but I still think he was a great talent, a great college football quarterback. And then when you have the Heisman winner leave, that obviously is a huge hole to fill. And that's 2 positions, one on offense, one on defense for them. So
I 2 on offense.
Yeah. And so I'm curious to see just how they respond to that. I don't think their recruiting class and the transfer portal was as good as it was the previous year when, guys were coming to play with Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a downtick. I'm curious just to see how Deion is, one with his health. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but also maybe just his investment in the team, not having his son at quarterback and, kind of his second son, Travis, out there. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a downtick.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it'll be I am surprised that Deion's stuck around though. I did think he was just probably wanted to be there for his son and Travis Hunter. And I was like, I didn't have any problems. It's like, I respect it. But, he's pretty open about wanting to stay there. And we'll see what happens here. He's still got one of the most, it's pretty interesting experiment still. Like, it's not over. We'll see how it ends up. He might be totally right. Like, especially in today's era of college football, like he kind of nailed the head with how he was building his teams. Because I think when he first did it, you're like, this guy's insane. What a some people thought he was idiotic for doing it that way. And now it's like, you don't even really blink an eye or bat an eye. You're like, yeah, there's a lot of teams that kind of do, maybe to the same extent, but basically build their starting 11 on offense, defense through the portal.
Yeah.
It happens at such a insane rate. And you can make the argument and blame Mel Tucker for being the first one.
Yeah.
Over there at Michigan State. And then they eventually had to pay him out.
Yeah.
Just it's a tough situation there. But until then, it really was about like, I felt like Deion was like the next guy to really do it at that extent. And he had some success, not as successful as you might think when you think of a guy like Shador and Travis Hunter. But if you see the offensive line, maybe it does make a little bit more sense. All right, number 23. We'll do one more and throw it to break. Oklahoma Sooners. Where do you think we're at for make playoff percentage here? Where do you think the Oklahoma Sooners got for a playoff chance?
I'm going to go with around 9 or so.
9%?
Yeah.
They got him 18.4.
Really?
Yeah, we're going up. The last one we did
up,
was 11.
I should have known that.
And we skipped quite a few. So now we're up to about 20%, and they got a 0.8% chance to win the title. What am I missing on Oklahoma?
John Matier is their new quarterback, transfer from Washington State.
Is that everything, though?
He's supposed to be pretty good. Honestly, I think that's what they're betting on.
Okay.
On quite a few sites, if you look up, top quarterbacks in the country, he'll show up on there. So I'm curious to see how Matier is. And then, honestly, I feel like Brett Venables, tough name to say fast, is kind of in the hot seat a little bit. I mean, he showed up at Oklahoma. You see Texas make this great transition to the SEC. You haven't seen the same out of Oklahoma. So I'm also curious how tough their schedule is in the SEC. Any SEC schedule is going to be tougher, but maybe they don't have as many crazy games as some of the other schools have. So I'm still a little surprised at how high that percentage is, but we'll see.
Yeah, Oklahoma just feels weird in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I know it's very early. It feels weird because they're new, but also I think they're a little bit shocked by how hard it's been for them. Again, they're not terrible, but I think they thought they could go in there and throw their weight around the same way they were, because especially when you're looking over there at Texas and it's like, well, they haven't skipped a beat. In Venables, it's just like he gives you those moments of hope, and then all at the same time, you're like, you kind of get that feeling like, I don't know if this is going to be the long-term fix. Like even, I'm trying to think of the last time we played Oklahoma. You're kind of just seeing a version of Oklahoma that was intimidating at times in terms of the raw talent and skill, but you weren't seeing the consistency with them. And it was just allowing us to stay in the game with them, allowing some crazy momentum plays to happen. And it's, I think that's the part where you get uneasy. I think he's a good recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's like his staff he's getting around him, but the consistency just isn't there. So a little bit on the hot seat. I don't think he'd have to lose. He'd have to like win 5 games, I think, for him to, even if he has another 6-6 year and loses the bowl game, maybe he's gone. But I think they're gonna have a little bit more patience with him. With that being said, we got to throw at the break here. We'll keep going down this list here. Again, just wrapped up with Oklahoma teams and chances for getting into the college football playoffs. Don't go anywhere. Tristan Gomes, Harrison Arens. Talk to you guys in just a little bit.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Fuhrer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing your family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Rose Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text or call me at 402-525-0843. That's 402-525-0843.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison runs on the ones and twos. As always, we got Tristan Gomes joining me to my left. You guys are always welcome to join in. We do got Royals on the brick and mortar. I believe they should be starting. They should have started up already, and it is the bottom of the second, currently 0-0. And again, Kansas City Royals 56-57 as they dropped below 500 after last night's loss to the Boston Red Sox. They actually pushed it pretty close, though. I was watching it, and I was kind of saying tongue in cheek, man, I can't speak today, that it's quite a long shot and pretty unrealistic. They actually put up a pretty good fight at the end there. They didn't get blown out like it's really that first inning was indicating. I think they gave up 5 runs in that very first inning to their 0. So with that being said, they got another chance right now, tied up, bottom of the second, your Kansas City Royals versus the Boston Red Sox. All right, Tristan, let's continue this list. We're talking college football. And the ESPN's got a list, top 32 teams to make the college football playoffs. Last one we talked about was Oklahoma. Had about 18% chance to make it. And at 20, get my list back here. At 22, the South Carolina Gamecocks, which one of the most gut-wrenching seasons probably they had last year. A really, really good team. Tough bounces, tough calls. Great quarterback, great coach.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not a great. I think a very good coach.
Yeah.
I'm not like against Beamer or anything. Go to the conference again. How tough is their schedule and everything? Where are you at, South Carolina?
I mean, I'm very high on Lenora Sellers. I don't know how you can't be. I think last year they had some bigger wins, but also maybe not the greatest losses. So I'm not super high on them. I think it's just tough because you think about very similar to the Big Ten. You think about, okay, maybe we get 4 teams in there, 3 or 4 teams, but are they one of them? I think there's right now I'm thinking Texas, Georgia. I think LSU is going to be pretty solid. Are they that 4th team?
October 11th.
Who they got?
South Carolina, LSU.
Yeah, like that's a big game.
That's one that decided.
Yeah, and I think those are the games that really decide. It's not, I think for the most part they're gonna have a good season. At least I want to say 8-9 wins for sure, and then it depends. Do they win that game? Do
it's
they win
in Baton Rouge as well?
Yeah, so like that's the game that makes a difference. I think if they win, then they've taken care of business previously. They're in the college football playoff. They lose that game, I think they're out.
Give me Sellers though. I like that road game for him. And, obviously you want to be undefeated by the time you get to that point, which shouldn't be too hard to do. That's plenty early in the season. I think they just have to be sitting there and want to know, take care of their opener, and then roll into LSU. Man, I was just forgetting on the Tigers for a second there for whatever reason. But I'm going to trust when I get into big environment games with a lot of pressure that have like big time implications. I usually feel more comfortable just picking more what I feel like is the more experienced veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go with Sellers on that point. I think he could have gone really just about anywhere. Like maybe a few guys who wouldn't be able to hop, but I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. And he's going to have an opportunity again, especially if he can take down LSU on the road. I think that'd be an impressive win for him, as well as the rest of the team. I think would feel really good about their chances going forward. 21, not a fan of USC. I don't know what it is with them.
Honestly, I'm really curious. Maybe I need to do more research. I'm really curious where just the USC hype is coming from. I think last year, we saw Nebraska go toe-to-toe with them in Southern California. So, like, just games like that where you recognize you're just curious, like, what was the big difference that they made this offseason? I do understand Lincoln Riley does have a lot to prove, and he's brought in great players and, but hasn't really had great teams. I don't think they have the easiest schedule as well. So
I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick because I got a few questions off of that. They do play Notre Dame and they do have Oregon.
Yeah.
And obviously they have Nebraska. We're on that list too. So this year, the toughest games, they got Iowa too. Like, I don't care what you say. It's not a walk in the park when you play Iowa. They have Michigan, Notre Dame, Illinois. It's not an easy schedule whatsoever. This one is I'm the most against. Again, 7 wins last year.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
I'm still not seeing, maybe we're seeing the speed out of USC that's translated to the Big Ten. I'm still not seeing the physicality, especially up front.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they're playing in Michigan, even when they're playing in Illinois now, and hopefully Nebraska, like those are games that, USC isn't dominating the line of scrimmage. And so I think until we actually see that and they prove that they can dominate the line of scrimmage, I don't see why there's a huge reason to be so high on USC.
Okay, so the 2 losses, they can't get that 3rd loss. So, between Oregon, Notre Dame, can they pull off either of those, you think?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll just assume. I obviously, in a crazy world, yeah, they can pull it off, but if I had to take a swing, no. So if that's your 2 losses right there, again, maybe you do beat Illinois, but then you got to make sure you also beat Nebraska. You got to make sure you also beat Iowa, and again, also make sure.
Is it Michigan as well?
Yeah, Michigan's on there. So it's like it's you kind of just gloss over everything else. Not great. Luckily, and they do get Northwestern. Some of the other games, they get a Michigan State, easy, Purdue, Northwestern, and UCLA. So like they have some decent games in there where I don't think Michigan State will be too great this year. And obviously I don't think anybody's really super high on Purdue, but that's just kind of a lot to gloss over for a team that great players, not great teams.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I agree with you 100% there. We'll keep moving on with the list here. So at 21 was your USC Trojans. What do you think the percentage is? Just real quick before we move off of them.
To think that it's higher than 18 because that's what Oklahoma was.
It's going to be higher every time.
But... Yeah, but I'm going to go with It's got to be maybe 21%.
Yeah, 21%.
Okay.
I don't know where they get that number at all.
Yeah.
I was going to take a swing. I was like, probably the exact same chance. Odds at number 20, SMU Mustangs. Conference?
I think
Okay.
so. I mean, I think in the preseason coaches poll, there were 3 ACC teams ranked. It was Clemson, Miami, SMU. So I think you just give them a shot. Maybe they pull it out in the ACC.
That'll be fun. I mean, they're going to, like I said, you're in the ACC. You're not looking down on a whole lot of teams. I'm not sure if they get Clemson in their regular season schedule or not, but they might even get a test before if it does get to a ACC championship game. At number 19, UNLV. They were pretty good last year. I didn't realize 11-3. Solid record there. Where are you at with the Rebels?
I'm pretty high on the Rebels. It's almost like I saw a post that it's almost like Last Chance University. They have so many, former 4 stars, 5 stars. Dan Mullins as the head coach there. So I'm pretty high on them. Alex Orji from Michigan is their new quarterback, I believe. So you have a Power 5 guy coming in at quarterback. And I think they could be very similar to what we saw in Boise State last year in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Hey, Boise State, do you like them at all this year, knowing what they lost to Genty? Because that's going to be the real challenge.
I think they have their quarterback Madsen back, but I mean, when you have a running back like Ashton Genty that we haven't seen in years out, that changes your whole offense. You don't have that big of a playmaker. So I still think they'll be good, but I'm nowhere near as what they had last year.
It's for how much he was their offense too. Like it's just, that's a drastically different culture. I shouldn't say culture, playbook. Like they're just gonna obviously not gonna be running the other as much. Number at 18, I'd actually slide these guys more out. I don't like Auburn that much this year. I may be missing. They must have got like a great transfer or something. I'm not really seeing it. Let's see. They got some pretty tough schedules. They got Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Bama on their schedule. How are they 18? 22% chance if you round up to make it to the college football playoffs. Am I wrong? Am I right? Are you in agreement here?
I agree with you. I'm not super high on Auburn as well. They have, I think, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma as their transfer quarterback, which we saw him at Oklahoma struggle a little bit. I think he can be good. I'm curious what Hugh Freeze has in store for him or how that offseason's been. But that's a really tough schedule, and I'm not buying on Auburn.
All right, moving on here. We only got about 5 minutes left here on this segment. Number 17, Kansas State Wildcats. Again, last year, 9-4. I feel pretty good about it. Quick thoughts?
Avery Johnson, I think he's a good quarterback. That's all I got.
That was the first sentence they had on the ESPN article. Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
Well said there. Number 16, going back to the conferences, Tulane Green Wave, which last year, how many losses did they have in the regular season? 9-5. Okay, they didn't finish nearly as well as I thought. I think early on they were making some noise, and then they fell off there. Where are you at with Coastal?
Coastal or Tulane?
Oh, sorry, Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane. I think they're in the American Conference. I think they have a good chance of maybe winning that, and I think that just gives them the high percentages. They're maybe projected to win their conference or finish pretty high, so that gives them a good shot to make it into that playoff.
Yep. It's when you get into those conferences too. It's just gonna be interesting. You almost need some style points. You got to figure out a way to make people respect you. Whether that's a big win, the one big game you have, you win, and then you do some extra with it to send a signal, or you're stomping on your conference, really putting yourself out there. Like we understand we're in a weak conference, but we are just a little bit ahead of everybody this year, and we can take on tougher opponents. 15. Disagree here. Boise State. I know we brought it up already. Where would you put them realistically?
Honestly, I don't mind 15. I'm not sure if they're projected to finish ahead of UNLV in those standings, or just if one of them has a tougher non-conference. So like if UNLV does lose a game early in the year to a tougher opponent, maybe their stock goes down a little bit. But I think you have to stay high on them. I'm not sure how much they lost besides Genty. That's a huge piece that's gone. But I'm really curious because I think it's just the American Conference and it's the Mountain West. Which team, one, can win the conference and then almost like you said, have those style points where they look better than that other conference's winner.
I'd move them out a bit. Maybe like 2025. Not because I just don't like Boise State, but I'm at the point now where it's like I feel like I could just say any team within, especially within their conference. Like there's a few teams where I'm like, I could put you guys all in like 6 and say one of you guys is going to do it. I feel exactly the same about all of you, though. Like, there's too much inconsistency. One of you guys is obviously going to come through, but this could be an interesting year, especially in some of those conferences where they're just beating up on each other so much and they're just trading losses and they take themselves out completely out of it just because the conference is beating up on itself so much. Number 14, moving on. Michigan Wolverines. Is that the first Big Ten, second Big Ten team we've gotten to now?
I think we had Nebraska and was it USC? I think that's what we've had so far.
Nebraska, USC.
I see Michigan here. I don't expect them to, they didn't have a great season last year. I think it all is up to Bryce Underwood. How does he play as a freshman quarterback? But I mean, I think it's just who's going to be that fourth spot in the Big Ten. I think Michigan has a shot at it, but we'll just have to wait and see.
The quarterback is going to come into play, Underwood, right? But I'm super nervous on Michigan. I wouldn't move him. I think this is probably just about right because he's not going to have to do a lot. I think Sherrod Moore might be the right guy for the job too. We'll see what happens here. Sherrod Moore, is it actually official for sure that he's not going to be coaching for Nebraska? I thought that was like dead in the water, and then I was just listening to Colin Cowherd talk about it again. Like, it's not official.
Yeah. Well, I think he almost gets to choose the game.
This is ridiculous.
Which is just crazy. Yeah, he gets to choose the game. So I'm not sure if he's officially chosen what games he's, not going to be coaching. So I'm not sure on that.
That's I hope it's figured out. Like,
it is
it's
wild.
Just insane that we're like, we'll figure out which game I don't want to coach at, or the fact that he even gets the decision to do it. Number 13, LSU. Talked about it a little bit already last year. 9-4 last year. They give them about a 30% chance to make the playoffs and a 2% chance to win the national title in itself. Where you at? Brian Kelly, LSU Tigers.
Here's what I think is tough is I really like LSU's roster. I like Garrett Nussmeier. I think they always have a solid wide receiver room. Their offense always seems to be high flying. I honestly think Brian Kelly almost is similar to the James Franklin of the SEC. So it just seems like in those really tough games, LSU's not pulling through. They're losing kind of those games that solidify them as a college football playoff team. They're not winning. So I'm high on them. I think they will be one of those top teams that gets in from the SEC, but I'm not super high.
You take LSU over South Carolina this year?
I believe so, especially in Baton Rouge. I think that's one of those games where
just like end of season conference standings. Who do you think will be LSU?
I like LSU.
Okay, I'm not going to fight too much. I think LSU will be good. I think those two teams are, again, just right on par. And one of those games is going to swing it. If it's, even if South Carolina goes in there and somehow, well, actually, I should say the former. Somehow, if LSU goes in there and gets the win from South Carolina, I know LSU and how it's kind of been for those guys. Kelly's going to figure out a way to drop one of those important ones, or maybe a couple, and then it'll be South Carolina, LSU. He was good at the tiebreaker, but I think their records will be pretty close there. Final one. I know I lied to you guys already, but final one this time. Ole Miss Rebels, number 12, Lane Kiffin. They give them 30.7, make the playoffs, about a 1.5% chance to win the entire thing. Like Lane Kiffin a lot. Who's the quarterback they're bringing in? Or is it in-house? Is he just...
It's in-house.
Okay.
He came in for Jackson Dart, I want to say, at least one game last year. Left-handed quarterback, I believe.
Austin Simmons.
Yes, Austin Simmons, left-handed quarterback. He showed a little bit of spurts last year of him being really good and just leading the offense down the field. So I'm pretty high on Ole Miss. I think they might have one of the easier schedules in the SEC, and that's why they're ranked so high. Because losing Jackson Dart and I think losing quite a few of your top receivers is, tough spot to fill. But I'm high on Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, this one, I'd have to double check the schedule. I know we've talked about their schedule before, though. They do got a Georgia game October 18th. That'll be a good test for them. And a game versus Florida. Not a bad schedule at all. Yeah, they're in a really favorable spot. I think you're right. I think they're sitting really high up there because they have that favorable schedule. I think that's about right for those guys. We are over the clock. We'll throw it to break real quick here. Don't go anywhere. With Tristan Gomes, Harrison Arens, talking over some college football. Talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered. Specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden Bay crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Earns on the ones and twos. Final segment between me and Tristan. On the other side, we'll get to talk to Jeffrey as well. We'll still have Takedown Tuesdays. Just a quick update. Takedown Tuesdays tonight will actually be 8 to 9 o'clock. So if you guys want that, Reg love it. He's got a guest on as well. One of his coaches, I believe. Great stuff as always. He's done the show quite a few times now, so he's gotten pretty good at it. Good listen as always. So if you're looking for that, again, Reg love it. He will be going from that 8 to 9 p.m. spot. All right, with that being said, we'll continue on with college football here, going to the top 32 teams to make the college football playoffs in terms of likelihood. We'll rapid fire through some of these again. Quickly, number 11, Texas A&M.
A little low on them. I would put LSU higher than them.
I would too. This one, not super high on at all, really. Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean the quarterback situation. I still have no idea what their plan is. That's a huge question mark for Tennessee.
Yeah, whoever wrote this article also agrees with us. Says disagree. Quote, too high for the Vols, who return just 39% of their offense, and one of those isn't your quarterback.
Exactly. That you expected to be here until like the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good coach, maybe can get figured out over there, but I just think that's a lot of change. I'm down on Tennessee. Number 9, the Fighting Irish, Notre Dame, 45.6% chance. The independent K-Cup schedule, whatever you want, you decide.
I like it. I mean, I understand Notre Dame always being up there. Would I like them to join a conference? Sure. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But I mean, they were just the national runner-up. They did lose quite a bit, but I still think that Notre Dame is a team you have to respect.
Yeah, they are going to never join a conference unless they're forced to.
Yeah, I mean, they played Texas A&M early, so that's going to be one game that we're going to have to tune in on.
That'd be a great game. Hopefully, we have that one on the ticket. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have college games. A lot of the great college games on the ticket. I'm pretty positive for all the ticket listeners out there, and if you're listening right now, that's fantastic because that means you found the ticket app or any of the streams. If you got that ticket app, I think we get Texas and Ohio State as well, which I think every college football fan, like that's the game that you just have to watch. Even if you're a casual fan, like you're going to want to tune in and watch that one just to see two heavyweights go at it. I go on a tangent there. It's Notre Dame, but Notre Dame, the reason, just wrap things up real quick, why I think like they'll never join a conference is why would you?
Yeah.
Who'd they split the money with last year?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. They just got, wasn't it like, because it wasn't it every single game you win in the college football playoff, your conference gets a certain amount of money, and then they just kept winning and they just kept racking in more money for themselves. So I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah. Just rack up a ton of money. And also like marketability wise, they're big enough to where they got that mobility and they don't have to be pressured into like massive TV deals or doing what the conference wants to do. And looking at how conference realignment went, it's a good thing they kind of just stayed independent.
Yeah.
Because their value just keeps going up the longer and longer, especially now that Marcus Freeman, like where are you at with him too? He seems like a phenomenal head coach.
I'm really high on him. He seems like a guy that guys just love playing for him, which is all you can ask for out of a coach, is being a leader of young men, making them better football players, than just being a guy that they don't want to disappoint. It seems like he gets the most of his players.
All right, let's go through the rest. Number 8, a few minutes left here. Miami Hurricanes, 46.3% chance. Not a crystal ball guy.
No, not a crystal ball guy, but ACC. I think you got 3 teams up there that one of them's got to win it. So I see where Miami's up there for.
Okay, fair enough. Not too much disagreement. Stick with the ACC. Number 7, Clemson Tigers.
Same thing.
I'd put them higher. I just because
you think they're going to win the ACC.
Yeah, that's pretty much the sole reason. I'd want to slide them up there. Maybe you see some crazy upsets, but I'm feeling pretty confident there. Number 6, Oregon, the only undefeated team last year in the college football playoffs. That obviously took the loss in the playoffs, but undefeated regular season and Big Ten champs. They got 57.5% chance. That actually sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they go to Penn State. I think even if they lose that one in at Penn State, they're still good. Even if they lose an extra one, I think they're similar to Ohio State last year. So they should be good.
All right, let's see. We got 5 left here. Number 5, Penn State. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. And number 1, the Texas Longhorns. Which one sticks out the most?
I'm going to go with Alabama. I'm a little surprised by Alabama. I think in Kalen DeBoer's season, we didn't see a whole bunch of good things. And you got a new quarterback with Jalen Milroe gone. So I'm a little surprised by how high Alabama is. But who knows?
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Makes sense. Not 4.
No.
Penn State, I'm putting above Alabama. Clemson, I'm putting above Alabama. Maybe even Miami, because Miami's got a couple teams it's got to really compete for. Probably really just 2 that you're really worried about. If you are Alabama, you're worried about Georgia, you're worried about Ole Miss, you're worried about Texas, you're worried about Oklahoma. Like, there's so many other teams you got to worry about. This one sits out horribly. Whoever wrote this article is fantastic as well. They also disagree with that assumption. Moving on to any other ones stick out. That was just Alabama. That was the last thoughts I had. I think Texas feels right. I think Georgia at 2. I'd slide Ohio State there, and then I'd probably go Georgia 3. Like I said, kick out Bama. That's probably where I'd slide in Clemson. And then number 5, Penn State feels about right.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Alabama, really confused by them, but I think they did that. They got it right for the most part. I think everyone understands SEC is going to get a solid number of teams in there, probably 3 to 4. Same with the Big Ten. So it makes sense for Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon to be up there. I think it's a pretty solid list. Besides, we're going to have to see what Kalen DeBoer has gotten his Crimson Tide this year.
Give me, I don't know, this is extra. I keep lying to everybody. Give me 2 Big Ten locks, 2 SEC locks, 1 ACC, 1 Big 12 lock.
Big 12's got to be the toughest, but Big 10.
I'll give you 2 for the Big 12.
Yeah, Big 10, I'm going to go with Penn State, Ohio State.
Okay.
SEC, I think is pretty easy. I'm going to go with Georgia, Texas.
Actually, sorry, I know I cut you off again. Big 12, just give me 1 because there's probably not going to be 2 in there.
Yeah. ACC, I'm going with Clemson.
Okay.
I think, 1, they're going to win the conference. Also, Miami plays Notre Dame, which I think is a loss for Miami. That doesn't help them out. And for the Big 12, I'm going to have to go with the I'm going to go with Iowa State. I like Rocco Becht and what he did last year. They lost in the conference championship. I like what Matt Campbell's doing over there at Iowa State. He always seems to, he's built a good culture there. I'm going to go with Iowa State. That might be a hot take, but I'm going with the Cyclones.
It's the Cyclones every year are pretty. Like, I don't think there's ever a team that gets Iowa State that's like, oh, boys, we got to walk in the park. Like, always a pretty good program. I like that. I can see, I hope Iowa State makes that big turnaround eventually. They did beat Iowa last year, the Iowa Hawkeyes. So hopefully they can continue their dominance. And I wouldn't mind it so much if football in Iowa was best served by the Iowa State Cyclones. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us, though. That's Tristan Gomez. I'm Harrison Arens. Appreciate you guys listening. Don't go anywhere. I got Jeffrey joining me for an hour up next.